What's up, Rockstar? It's Jim Chandler with Rock Your Best Vocals. Monday Mindset Motivation. This one is really important because this is where everything starts. Why do I talk about mindset so much? I'm all about mindset. I am the first and only vocal coach / mentor that really focuses on mindset. And why is that? Because I've had so many issues with my own mindset in the past, and I've learned how to get past all of those. And I've also created a course, Bulletproof Vocal Confidence, which is down below. And for this Cyber Monday, it's 70% off if you go down there and get that. You can get it. Why? Because I want everybody to have bulletproof vocal confidence. Start learning how to make your mind work for you. Anyway, so click the link down below if you're interested in that. So this one is all about identity. And this is like the crux of everything. I just want to talk about how important this is and how valuable this can really be for not only your singing, but for your life. Because when you create an identity, an alter ego, you work from that alter ego. Let's say, for example, this is why so many people who are successful have done this, and they've created a whole nother name like Lady Gaga, Bono, Sting, you name it. Like the list goes on and on. Even one of the people that I worked with when I worked in BIM, when I was teaching there, one of my students actually changed her name. She took a stage name, and it really changed her trajectory of her career because she all of a sudden started becoming this person. And when you can take the time really to sit down and write down, what would this alter ego think about? What would they do on a day-to-day basis? How would they act? How would they dress? When you can do that and start working from that, like play acting, okay, like a child. Okay, so it says in the Bible something about, and this is completely paraphrased, so don't come down on me like a ton of bricks, but when you can play and act like a child, that's when you get into the kingdom. Okay, that's when you get into heaven. So that's completely paraphrased, but it's, that those who can act like a child, you can let that ego. So when I say alter ego, you have an ego right now. An ego is the thing that prevents you from doing what you really want to do. So you have the self, which is the higher self, which is the ultimate identity of who you really are behind that ego that's afraid to talk, afraid to speak, afraid to sing, all this stuff. It's like all this fear. It's this resistance to what you really want to do. And this is kind of a lot of really big stars talk about getting out of your own way. Joe Rogan is a big one. Anyway, I was trying to think of the other guy who's a big one. Stephen Pressfield talks about this, who was also just recently on Joe Rogan, and the other name will come to me there in a minute. Anyway, look, Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man talks about it in his episode with Joe Rogan. He talks about getting out of your own way. And Joe Rogan was like, well, what's the key to success? And he said, getting out of your own way is that's 99% of it. I think he said 99. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. Again, don't come down on me on a ton of bricks and, don't sue me. But it's getting out of your own way, which means that ego is the thing that is always getting in your way of doing whatever you want to do. That's the ego that's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't get up and sing for people. It's the thing that crushes dreams, right? Your ego. But when you create an alter ego, you start working from a very powerful, powerful place. Now, it is harder to do this when you're older, trust me. The ego gets in the way of you wanting to do that because the ego doesn't want change. Ego is afraid of that. The ego is always afraid of being put to the side. And that is one thing. As you get older, you get more attached to that ego that gets in your way as, even as a creator, as a person. It's the thing that tells you, you can't unconditionally love everyone because then, what if somebody hurts you or something like that? It makes you afraid of things that you wouldn't be afraid of if you just threw off all of that hard candy shell of an ego, and you just let that true self that's under you out, and just to be free, and to like just to do what you want to do in the world. So I don't know, this is something that I've struggled with a lot in my life, and it's all because of what I thought like what success was, and my ego was like driving the boat all the time and telling you, you can't do this, can't do that, and all this stuff, and making you fear things that are like completely irrational, fear of judgment and things like that. When it's like, if you stop judging other people, then you stop fearing judgment from someone else, because like you're like, hey, if I'm not judging them, like, but they're going to judge me, it's okay, because I'm not going to judge them for judging me. It's kind of weird. It's a weird thing, but I get into that, the reasons behind all of that in that program as well. So like I said before, it's 70% off. And this is like, this is me just like giving. I'm just trying to give, because that's a huge amount off of something that's very, very valuable. But I want as many people to learn this stuff and to benefit from that confidence that so many people lack. I've lacked. You might be lacking that, even though you may not think you lack confidence. Sometimes there's like a pseudo confidence where you think you have confidence, but the moment somebody criticizes you or something like that in social media, you really like collapse. Like, and I thought a lot of times I had confidence, but the moment somebody, like, I'll tell you a funny story, okay? So when I would go and do these gigs at a place in town, and like, we'd do these gigs, it was just amazing. The crowd always loved it, and it was just like incredible. Like, so I had this like massive sort of, ego around it, but it was the ego, it was that alter egu. Like, I never really have an ego. When the second I get off stage, I'm like, very humbled, because I know I'm not that great of a singer. You know what I mean? Like, when I get up there and I perform and I let it come through me, I'm an incredible performer. I'm not that great of a singer, but that alter ego in my mind thinks I'm a great singer, and I like come across like that, and then people believe it. It's so weird. It's like people believe, hey, he's a good singer. I don't know, unless I'm just like completely fooling myself, probably so. But one time, this is the funny story. One time we were doing an incredible gig. I mean, the crowd were loving it. And something hit me in the face. Some dude had taken off his boxer shorts and either soaked them in something or whatever, but it was like a pair of wet boxer shorts smacked me in the face. Hindsight, it was very funny. At the time, I wasn't really pleased at all. It actually kind of hurt, like, because of, soaking wet boxers does kind of like, somebody like throws a balled up pair of soaking wet boxers, smacks you in the face. It's not so comfy. At any rate, like, I look back and I laugh at it, but that was like a thing that really crushed me then. And then I was instantly brought down into this place of questioning everything, in my mind. And like, that's when when I'm performing and I start questioning things and letting that ego start to get in the way, that's when the gig starts to fall to poo-poo. And if you guys out there, any of you professionals know, hit me up in the comments below if that's happened to you, when you like all of a sudden you get in your own mind in your ego mind about, if you feel like maybe you're not singing as well, or you start thinking about stuff too much and you get in your head. And I know a lot of other fellow professional singers I've talked about this with, that they go, yeah. Once I start kind of, it's like you're riding a bicycle, and then once you realize what you're doing on the bicycle, then you like fall down, or like there's an episode, I think in Star Wars, where like Luke Skywalker is doing his thing with the Force, and there's this ball, like, and then he started to like think about it or something, and then the ball fell, and it all fell apart because he like started getting into his mind about something. I think I could be making that up. I don't know, but that's what I'm talking about. When you start to let your ego mind get back in control, that's when it wants to get in the way of what your creation is. Anyway, so look, this is like I'm kind of going on a little bit longer, but the identity, if this is like a number one, tip for like even as a beginner singer, get in your mind what identity you want to like become, what you want to do, and start working from that now. So that's like the summary of it. Get in your mind what you want to accomplish, who you want to be as a singer, as a performer, as a person, to start working from that position. The younger you are, the better, because you can play act and you can really, really get into that. And don't let anyone tell you anything different, because you've created this identity that you're in. You've allowed other people to like put input into this identity that you're being on a day-to-day basis now. And so if you think taking on a new identity and a new name and all that stuff and starting to work from that is crazy, think about the craziness of, wasting your life as an identity that is not serving you. Anyway, so I just want to leave you with that and hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, please click like and subscribe for the Monday Mindset Motivation Tips. I'm all about the mindset because this is one of my specialties. I will see you on the next one. Rock your best vocals where your best keeps getting better. Thank you.